What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. We're going to get into AEW Dynamite from August the 6th, 2025. A very boring show. Not much occurred on this show, and it was a waste of 2 hours. Just being honest. So it is what it is. We are, I think, 4 weeks away until Forbidden Door. I don't care about Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door is quite boring. It's a boring and dead concept, pay-per-view for AEW. It's just not important anymore. It's lost its luster, and there's really no point really even doing it anymore. The Forbidden Door should be closed. It's time. They need to do something else, come up with a different pay-per-view. Just move on from the Forbidden Door stuff. That's just me. And since I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this review for AEW, I'm going to incorporate a little bit of the ESPN, the WWE deal. I'm just going to talk about that briefly. I'm not going to spend maybe about like a minute to 3 minutes on it, and then, that'll be it. So, let's go ahead and get into Dynamite. So, we kick the show off with MJF. He's in the back. He's holding his guaranteed contract and a CMLL championship. It doesn't really mean much of anything. It's like a light heavyweight championship for the promotion, whatever. MJF says that Mark Briscoe will pay, and he tells Mark that he's looking in the eyes of the devil. He has no problem sending him to hell, and Mark can go back doing what God put him on this earth to do, and that is being a loser, a blue-collar bitch. MJF says that Mark Briscoe isn't championship material. He's white trash that got lucky, and that's why the fans cheer for him. They pity him, and tonight, Mark's luck will run out. Okay, that's fine there, and it actually did run out. Moving on. This leads us into the first match of the night. Jon Moxley defeats Speedball Mike Bailey. This match was way too long. Jon Moxley wins via the brainbuster for whatever reason. He got Bailey into a chokehold. And then he had a brainbuster. 1, 2, 3. Whatever. Who cares about this shit, if we're being honest. Darby Allin showed up. And they went after Darby, that being the Death Riders. Whatever. I don't give a fuck about this. I guess this is setting up a match between Moxley and Darby at Forbidden Door. That's fine. So, which we do get that at Forbidden Door anyway. So, whatever. Moving on. So, Renee Paquette is backstage with Alex Windsor and Toni Storm. She talks about her match and how she'll win tonight. So, it's not really all that important. Whatever. Moving on. So, we cut outside of the arena. So, Moxley and Marina Shafir, they see a body in a white body bag or whatever. So Darby drives next to them in a truck and honks, and then he drives off. They open up the body bag, and there's a paper with the words Forbidden Door written on it. And then Willa Yuta, it comes out of the bag. So whatever, who cares? I really don't care about this at all. It's a waste of time, but at least we're getting Moxley and Darby Allin at Forbidden Door. That should be okay. And then once Moxley loses, it's time for him to go away for a while. I would hope he would go away for the rest of the year. Please. Please. Because we need a break from Jon Moxley. Oh my God, what the fuck. Moving on. We then get a TBS Championship qualifier. It was a fatal 4-way. Alex Windsor, Billy Starks, Sky Blue, and Queen Aminata. And who won this? It was Alex Windsor, so Miss Ospreay wins. Who cares? It's not really all that important. Out comes Mercedes Moné. Mercedes gets into the ring, and then they have a face-off, that being Mercedes and Alex Windsor. And then out of nowhere, Athena, she hits the O-face, a.k.a. the Eclipse, onto Toni Storm. And then Mercedes hits a backstabber to Windsor. So this should set up probably a tag match next week. Mercedes Moné and Athena versus Toni Storm and Mrs. Ospreay, or Miss Ospreay. So, there's that. Moving on, this leads us into the Kyle Fletcher segment, which was just awful. Kyle Fletcher just puts over the Don Callis family, basically. He says, well, that being Don Callis, he says that Kyle may have retired a legend. He says Dustin Rhodes got what he deserved for stealing his moment at All In. He says that Dustin may have had a storied career, but a 60-year-old man doesn't deserve to be in the ring with him. He says they don't even know. I mean, we don't even know if we'll see Adam Cole again, and that's thanks to him. So Kyle Fletcher says this is only the beginning of his legacy. Every man that tries to take this title from him will suffer the same fate, because he will be the greatest TNT champion of all time, on his way to becoming the greatest of all time. So then Don Callis continues to put over Kyle Fletcher, and Kyle Fletcher then lays out a open challenge for Collision. Who cares? I don't give a shit about this. And plus, they were using weird homoerotic overtones. And it's just like, what in the actual fuck is going on here? This was some lame ass shit. Really, really lame. Moving on. So, FTR, no, my bad. Edge is backstage, and he says that his hands are full with FTR, and he knows he can't get within 200 feet of them. But he spoke to Tony Khan, and next time it'll be himself against Big Stoke, a.k.a. Stokely Hathaway. So, if FTR gets involved, the restraining order is void. Okay, whatever. I don't care about this shit. This is a waste of time. This match only lasts maybe like 30 seconds. Whatever. Who cares? Then we get another AEW Tag Team title eliminator. So, the Young Bucks, they lose to Brody King and Bandito, a.k.a. Brodito. What the hell? This match went on forever. This felt like a 45-minute match. I'm not going to hold you guys up. It felt like it. But it probably was at best maybe 20 minutes. I don't know. I wasn't even paying attention. I really wasn't. Ugh. So Bandito gets the win for his team. It is what it is. So whatever. Moving on. The Hurt Syndicate. They're backstage with Renee Paquette. It's just basically MVP. So MVP congratulates Brodito on their win, and best wishes for the final two teams. He says they'll be too happy to hurt the team that they'll face at Forbidden Door. So MJF comes in. Bobby and Shelton Benjamin, they walk away. MJF tells him that, with all due respect, MVP only needs him, no one else. MVP tells him that they hurt people, not MJF. He says MJF's ego is too big. MVP gives MJF the thumbs down and tells him that he loves him like a little brother. He tells MJF that if he wins the title, Bobby Lashely is going to come after him, and it won't be business. It'll be very personal. So I do like this. At least they are breaking up MJF being a part of the Hurt Syndicate. It doesn't make really any sense. Apparently, MVP has some heat backstage, but I don't think it's true. It's just rumors being spread, so whatever. Who cares? Moving on. Let's lead this into a backstage interview by Stokely Hathaway. So, Stokely insults Edge's wife and kids, and he tells Edge that he'll beat him next week. I don't care about this at all. A waste of time. Moving on. Swerve comes out, and he puts over Okada, and saying that he'll do anything that he can to beat Okada. He says that this is a big match for Okada because he's facing off against the most dangerous man in AEW, and that's him. Swerve says this is also about his redemption, because he lost two of the biggest matches in his career back-to-back times in London. He says he wants to continue his legacy by defeating Okada, and he'll stand in the middle of Okada's body while Don Callis cries. Everyone will scream and chant his house. Okay, that's fine. Moving on, this leads us into Mark Briscoe. So he's backstage. He says the time for words is over, and tonight he'll do his talking with his fist. He tells MJF that tonight he'll pay for his sins. So Adam Hangman Page shows up, who tells Mark Briscoe that he's known him for about 14 years, and he's always he's always looked up to him. Adam Page tells Mark Briscoe that if he wins tonight, and he hopes that he's the next one to challenge for the AEW World Championship, and the both guys shake hands, and that was it. Main event of the evening, MJF defeats Mark Briscoe, and he wins via the Heat Seeker. Mark Briscoe got his foot on the rope, but the referee just didn't see it, and MJF wins. I wish this match had a little bit more flair to it. Mark Briscoe should have had a little bit more aggressiveness to him. He should have been more aggressive. I don't know why he didn't attack MJF before he got into the ring or whatever, which is kind of weird. Or attack MJF backstage. That's what I would have done. Show the serious, angry babyface, but it didn't happen, so whatever. It is what it is. So, and basically, towards the end of the match, post-match, MJF beat up Mark Briscoe. He hit him with the diamond ring, the Dynamite diamond ring. He hit him with that, and Mark Briscoe started bleeding buckets, and then MJF was about to attack him some more, and then Heyman showed up to make the save. MJF gets out of dodge before he eats a buckshot lariat, and that was the show. So this was fine, I guess, but poor Mark Briscoe, but it is what it is. It doesn't really matter at this point. What do you do with him now? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Who really cares at the end of the day? Even though I am a fan of Mark Briscoe. I'm guessing we'll get MJF and Hangman at a later date. We should get that match probably either at Full Gear or World's End. Probably Full Gear would be better. But we'll have to wait and see how things play out. But Dynamite was not good, as per usual. I did like MJF getting booted from the Hurt Business by MVP. That was pretty cool, so I do like that. We'll see how that goes. And everything else on the show was meaningless. Mercedes was gone for, 3 weeks, and she didn't do anything on the show. So, whatever. I don't give a damn. Forbidden Door looks to be a disaster, but whatever. So there's that. Moving on from AEW Dynamite, ESPN and WWE have inked a $1.6 billion deal. So ESPN, they now own the rights to WWE's PLEs going forward, starting next year. I would assume it's going to probably start in January of next year, which is scary. And so that means no more Peacock for pay-per-views after this year. It is going to be $30 if you have a ESPN subscription. That is outrageous. And that's where I draw the line. This is not the 90s. This is not the early 2000s. Pro wrestling, modern pro wrestling, is not that important at all, in my opinion. It's not. If you miss a show, a Raw, a SmackDown, or whatever, or an AEW, it's not that important. Even if you miss a pay-per-view or whatever, it's not that important either. Again, these shows are not must-see. It's not must-see. Current WWE is not must-see TV. Same with AEW. It's the same exact thing. I don't like this because people already spend too much on streaming services as it is, and especially for pro wrestling, it's not a good look in my opinion. Yes, people will like this, but that's if you have a lot of money at hand. But $30 a month adds up quite easily. It's a lot of money. And the reason why WWE is doing this, the reason why ESPN is doing this is because WWE is in a lot of debt. So this is why TKO is making this move. Nick Khan's making this move as well because he's always been a fan of ESPN. He wants to treat WWE like ESPN. That's why you always see on every Raw and SmackDown, you always see superstars coming to the arena. You know, they're wearing their gym attire and coffee in one hand and all that jazz. So that's why you see that. But this is going to receive a lot of negative backlash, and it's justified. It's too much, in my opinion. It's too much. Ever since TKO took over, WWE has gotten more and more expensive. Ticket prices, and now this. And I'm not a fan. You know, Peacock is fine, but now that they've moved on from Peacock and they're going to go to ESPN Plus, to me, I don't like that. And I'm going to basically just bow out gracefully. I will do my best to try to get a VPN or just, you know, start watching the pay-per-views on streaming sites. You know, hopefully I can find a couple of good streaming sites and go from there. If not, I'll watch highlights the next day, or I'll, you know, go to Daily Motion and check there the next day. You know, but I'm not going to spend all that money just for that because it's not worth it. $30. Could you imagine spending $30 for, you know, a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania or a Royal Rumble? And those events I just named this year were awful. We had an awful Royal Rumble. We had an awful SummerSlam, and we had an awful WrestleMania 41. But I get why they're doing this. This is a smart business decision. Again, TKO is several $billion in debt. I think it's like three something that they're in debt. So that's why we're seeing this. That's why we're seeing this move is, you know, it's being made. But hopefully WWE gets a lot of backlash from this. Not everybody's going to eat this up because to me, I don't find it right, in my opinion. I just don't. But it is what it is. But I can tell you guys that I am basically done. I'm tapped out. Like when I read it and heard about that, I just said, nah, I'm just gonna bow out gracefully. Enough's enough, you know. I could see having 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 streaming services, but you can't have everything. You can't have Hulu and Netflix and Paramount Plus and everything else. To me, it's just too much. You should pick what you want to watch. At best, get 3 to 4 streaming services, and then that's it. Just bow out gracefully after that. I mean, I've got Netflix, I got Hulu, you know. I got Peacock. But to me, at some point, enough is enough. But I will promise you guys that I'm going to do everything in my power to get a VPN or just, you know, try the streaming sites at this point. I mean, that's all we can do. So it is what it is. But what did you guys think of AEW Dynamite? And what do you think of the ESPN news of ESPN acquiring the rights of WWE pay-per-views? What do you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace. you.